Hello, welcome to everybody. I'm very pleased to be here with you. I'm Veronica Cremonesi. I'm the Director of Education and Training in Federchimica, the Italian Federation of the Chemical Industry, and I'm very happy to be here with you, colleagues, friends, and companies. I would like to say welcome to you in presence and also to all the people online. We have a lot of companies, we have a lot of training organizations, and we have a lot of university students. And we are very happy that some of these university will recognize the training credits to students who attend the conference. So it's an important moment for their life, and we are happy that they consider this moment so important. So I give the floor immediately to my colleagues, Eleonora Isopo, who will introduce herself, and Anni Siltaten. So enjoy the conference, and please don't hesitate to tell me everything you need in this morning that we hope this will be satisfied your expectations. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you so much, Veronica. And first of all, thank you to host the conference, the second annual conference of the ChemSkills project. I'm Eleonora Isopo. I'm the Director General of the European Chemical Employers Group. Today, I will moderate this session. There has been a last-minute change in the moderation because, unfortunately, Maria Xatunaki, she's ill, so I take over the moderation. Indeed, I would like to welcome you to this second conference of the project. As ECG, we are actually the coordinator of the ChemSkills project, and this, let's say, journey started around 3 years ago, I would say, when we decided to actually look and respond at the needs in terms of skills, digital skills and green skills for the chemical industry. And therefore, we decided to embark on this project and build up this big consortium with more than 30 partners in order to respond to the needs of the industry in terms of skills, but also in terms of training offering. So today we will have a very, let's say, packed agenda with different presentation from industry representatives, but also from members of the consortium, which will give us an overview of the first results reached in these first 2 years. And also some, let's say, business cases and other project presentation. So without further ado, I give the floor to my colleague Anni Siltanen, who is actually the chair of the working group in ECG on education and lifelong learning, but also the project manager of the ChemSkills project. Anni, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eleonora. As already mentioned, my name is Anni Siltanen. I come from Finland, but I have a lot of duties in Brussels associated to the ECEG organization that is also the project coordinator for this great project, namely ChemSkills. I would like to welcome everyone on behalf of the project, and I would like to also extend my thank yous and welcomes, especially to Mr. Ranieri of CEDEFOP, who is also joining us today, as well as everybody else who we do not know yet and who is new to the project, and hopefully we can become better friends during the course of the day. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I am really glad we can gather around the most important topic there is, namely skills. Even though it is not a very easy time for the European industry, for Europe in general, I think, we with the ChemSkills project, we firmly believe in skills, and we firmly think that it's with the help of people, right strategic skills and competence that we can actually move the industry forward. And this is why we decided to be on board with this very important project that indeed Eleonora already presented. We already had a very interesting day yesterday here in Milan with the consortium. And we discussed not only the project and how we want to move forward here, we have already made some results, which you will hear about later on. We also established we will still be relevant, even though there's obviously been some change in the European industrial landscape. We figured people and skills and people with the right skills are still the most topical thing that the industry should actually invest in. Then we also discussed micro credentials, how we can build cooperation. That's maybe in the center of the project and the most dear and dear thing to me. We think we need cooperation. We think we need educational institutions, we need the industrial companies, and we need people and organizations that are like-minded to us in order to actually be able to foster this project and move forward. Then we also discussed how we could turn the curve and get Europe back on track with actually high-level skills and competence, how we could compete better with our main competitors, USA and China, also in terms of skills. We need to get better at PISA results. We need to get better at STEM. And this is something that the project hopefully can also be of help. I am really looking forward to some more discussion around these topics today. At the end of my opening speech, I would like to repeat that there are no more important things to me in this world at the moment than really right skills and right competence for the industry to prosper. I firmly believe and think that the European industry needs competent people in order to be able to be competitive. Education is always an investment towards European competitiveness. And that is why I really, really think that this is going to be an important day for the ChemSkills project and for all of us. So thank you for coming again and welcome on the behalf of the whole ChemSkills consortium. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie, especially for highlighting the importance of the ChemSkills project, as well as the importance of investing in skills and in people with the right skills for the competitiveness of Europe, especially in comparison to other powers such as US and China. Now moving to some technical aspects. So for online participants, as Veronica said, there is the possibility to put your question in the chat. So if you have any question, please don't hesitate to write in the chat. Me and Annie, we will monitor the chat in order to see whether there are questions for the speakers. For in-person participants, please do not hesitate to intervene, to raise your hand and ask questions or intervene, give your comments on the presentation that there will be. At the end of each presentation, I will make sure that there will be a little bit of space for interaction because we would like this session, this conference to be very, let's say, interactive. So now moving on to the first agenda point, we have an opening speech from Antonio Ranieri, head of department at CEDEFOP, which is the European Union Agency for Vocational Education and Training. So welcome, Antonio, and thank you so much for being there. I leave the floor to you for your opening speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me for this important initiative, perhaps even more important than you realize from our perspective. This is a truly pivotal time for anyone in Europe focusing on skills and therefore on training, learning policy. In March this year, the Union of Skills was launched, as you know. In September, 1 month ago, we saw the Earning Declaration, which defines the broad policy priorities for education and training for the next 5 years. And right now, we are working intensely on the new VET strategy that will be launched by the European Commission in 26. So it's an interesting time. Over the past few years, for the many reasons you know, the vulnerabilities of our economies have become more apparent, and that's also why our skills and learning policies are being reframed somehow. I mean, placing greater emphasis on the key challenges of productivity on the one hand and strategic autonomy on the other hand. So what does it mean for the very core of your project? Of course, the green and digital transitions remain central. Nevertheless, I mean, the growing geopolitical tensions have made the green transition trajectory a bit disorderly, so to speak. It's clear that the objective, in any case, of reducing our energy dependency has become, in a sense, even more important. For the digital transformation, the focus is on this persistent investment gap compared to our global partners. If we don't close this gap, our productivity prospect is clearly at stake. And this is about investment in core infrastructure, but also in complementary areas, including upskillings and reskilling of our workforce. So all this requires revitalizing our skills development policy and practices. We need a better understanding of the necessary skills across different sectors, the ability to quickly adapt to evolving demands. We need to work on the quality of our curricula and of our training programs. I mean, all this clearly resonates with your project. But there is also, I would like to say, a deeper reason why your work is important for us. I mean, the value of projects like the ChemSkills, I mean, the experience of the sectoral alliances more generally, lies most of all in their approach. So this model of strategic intersectoral cooperation, wide-ranging partnership involving VET, higher education institutions, enterprises, this is critical for addressing the skills challenge we are experiencing. And we believe, especially at CEDEFOP, that this should be one of the cornerstones of the new European VET strategy that is currently in the making. Because, I mean, we know for sure that investing in skills pays off. It's good for individuals, employers, society. And we know that the potential demand, the need of learning, especially for adults, is expanding rapidly, not least because of the digital and the green transitions. And at the same time, we know that the very nature of learning is changing dramatically, I would say, the way people work, how work is organized, and therefore what, when, and especially how people need to learn is changing. So this is an extraordinary challenge for our education and training systems. And I would say we are not ready yet. Investment on skills development of adults remains relatively low, but it's not just a matter of money. The real challenge is how to build systems that work and what kind of training for whom, and most importantly, how. And your experience can help us to understand precisely the how, what policies, what programs and governance arrangements are suitable to make learning accessible, attractive, effective. And speaking of the how, we must also think of this fundamental challenge of skills utilization, which directly concerns you. We have a problem of skills shortages, of skills gap. We want the right people with the right skills. Fair enough. I mean, all employers complain across Europe, but the skills matching remains perhaps the most crucial challenge. I mean, and within the skills matching, the underutilization of existing skills represents the most critical component. I mean, from our observatory, we see that a significant and growing portion of the skill challenge facing employers can be found potentially, I mean, within organizations where the potential of available for many reasons, justified reason, but this potential of human resources is not fully valued. So especially in a context and a macro context of shrinking workforce due to the demography and also to the uncertainty surrounding our migration policy, it is important for companies to put their people skills to good use as much as possible. It's not that easy. However, addressing skills underutilization and mismatches not only across the wider labor market in general terms, but within our own organizations is maybe the most promising way to create the conditions for stronger productivity and growth. And this is an area where initiatives like yours can help us, because we need to know more about how to design effective policies on the skills demand side. We need to understand how policies can help to improve the role of workplaces in upskilling our people. And perhaps more ambitiously, how can we support a fundamental shift towards greater, so to speak, workplace ownership of our skills policy? This is a bit an important point of discussion currently that we have. So that's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. And with that, I wish you every success with your conference, and thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Antonio, for your intervention. Actually, both the challenges that you highlighted and also like the way forwards are those that we identified also in the ChemSkills project. So demographic change, skills matching are for sure points that we need to be addressed and with whom companies, employers are struggling at the moment. And to those challenges with the ChemSkills project, we are trying to address those challenges and find some potential solution. So like as like coordinator of the ChemSkills project, we really appreciate the support from the Commission and from CEDEFOP in particular. And indeed, we would be really happy to build alliances between the ChemSkills and CEDEFOP in order to see where like how we can move forward, how our findings can actually support your work. I look at people in the room. Do you have any immediate questions or comments about the intervention of Antonio? The chat, we don't have anything. No. It doesn't seem so. So, Antonio, we thank you so much for your intervention. And we will be in touch for the cooperation. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, now we move forward to the next session, which looks at the preliminary results of the ChemSkills project. So I would kindly ask you to Simona Yusova to join the panel, Frans van den Akker, and also Fabian Grunet. So yeah, you can proceed. We have another. Yes. Okay. Frans, you can sit here. There is space for everyone. Okay, so for the next hour, we will give you overview of the first results that we have reached in the last in the first 2 years of the project. I'm happy to share this table during this hour with Simona Yusova from the Technical University of Ostrava, Frans van den Akker from Asconi, the Netherlands, and Fabian Grunert from the University of Twente. So I give the floor to Simona and Franz for giving us an overview on the roadmap development and indeed the preliminary results on trends, competencies, and job profiles. Please, Simona and Franz, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eleonora. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am really happy to be here and to share first results achieved during 2 years implementation of ChemSkills. I would like to start and prepare the background, and then I will pass my word to Franz. I will speak about preliminary results, about trends, competencies, and emerging job profiles which were identified within the project. I am here on behalf of VSB Technical University, which leads Work Package 3, providing the overall methodology for subsectors. And as As you know, ChemSkills is an extensive project. It includes 6 subsectors. You can see that these sectors vary quite a lot one another. For this, that methodology and the effective tool is really important to identify across the sector main trends and relevant inputs. We use for it competence metrics where all relevant data are compiled. The inputs come from the desk research, from workshops, interviews, from surveys, and all these data are the competence metrics, and then we analyze it and find or try to specify what is in common for all sectors. So let's start with trends. At the beginning, subsectors identified more than 100 trends. So imagine 180 trends across very different subsectors, from plastics through fertilizers, for example, to pharmaceuticals. And we wanted to find what is in common. We analyzed the trends and identified that that trends can be merged into 29 across the industry and can be characterized by 4 megatrends. You can see what megatrends, what global topics were identified across sectors. It is sustainable material and circular economy, then digitalization, automation, and smart manufacturing, and resilient, transparent, compliant value chain, and last but not least, changing markets and consumer demands. And we analyzed also the incidence of specific trends within the sectors. The sustainability trend or that global topic on sustainable materials and circular economy was in the major focus of our subsectors. And if we look at details, what specific trend was mentioned as the most significant one? It was definitely safe and sustainable by design. The incidence of this trend reached number 16, and all sectors mentioned it. It was followed by advanced recycling and circular economy, and then, for example, bio and bio-based materials were mentioned just by one sector. Speaking about digitalization, automation, and smart manufacturing, the strongest trends were identified AI and data cloud technology. They reach the same level. And for example, robotics or advanced sensors reached much less incidents within this mega trend. In the topic of resilient, transparent, and global value chain, the most mentioned was regulatory compliance. And speaking about a change in markets, so definitely consumer demand shift was identified as the most important trend for all sectors. So from trends, let's move to competencies. It is another field which we are focused on. The sectors identified in 2 years of the project implementation, 232 competencies as emerging, evolving, important for the European chemical industry. 88 of them were identified as skills, 88 as knowledge. 18 competencies had that same both character identified as skills and at the same time as knowledge. 38 weren't characterized. And looking at the chart, at that figure, you can see what the competencies were focused on. So the sectors identify digital field as important and environmental, chemical, recycling, sustainable. So these fields were identified as the most relevant for the future development of the industry. As we are speaking about competence categories, the most numerous category was digital, where 123 competencies were found. It's a little bit different situation from the trends. As for the trend, the green trends, sustainability, manufacturing, and circular economy was identified as the most significant. Speaking about competencies, it was that category of digital ones. In category of safe and sustainable by design were identified 68 competencies. And you can see what was the incidence of them in other categories. What is interesting, we have also a category of other, which includes soft skills and communication skills. And in this category were revealed more than 40 competencies. Here we have a detail on competencies, and we can see what specific competence was identified as the strongest one, and what could be quite surprising, all sectors agreed on communication skills. Just behind was cybersecurity knowledge, regulatory and standards compliance, machine learning. But all sectors agreed that communication skills are the significant aspect for the industry. And lastly, what I would like to introduce today, are skill cards. A skill card, it is a reference document describing emerging and evolving professional profiles. And through this document, we want to identify new job role which are necessary to develop and which will be necessary for the future. These cards can be relevant for companies that they can use it during guide recruitment and for shaping trainings in their processes. Then also cards are important for training providers because it could give them ideas how to update curricula, how to reflect the latest technologies and practices in the education. And also policymakers can align education and labor market strategies based on these structure references. And we also hope that it could help students, workers to provide them clear guidance during their career path. And we have designed first skill cards. In this picture, you can see how it looks like. You can see first pages of this reference document. It is an example of petrochemical subsector for safe and sustainable by design product manager. The skill card involves the brief description of main responsibilities and then there are provided information on competencies according to the categories. The competencies are aligned with ESCO and also with Blue taxonomy as the level for them is specified. If you are interested in more details on skill cards, you definitely should visit our project website. There you can see, you can study full text of these skill cards. So far, we identified new occupational profiles in the field of sustainability and green transition, but we are working on, and next cards are coming soon. So please follow our web, and you can have the update on the cards. So much from my side, and I can pass the word to Franz.
Eleonora, we have a hand up from the public online.
Okay.
You want me to give them the floor?
Yes, sure. Let's already give the first reaction from the public.
Sorry.
Yes.
Maybe I missed it. Which kind of platform did you use for competencies? Is ESCO or some other platform?
Yeah.
Yes, just sorry. Maybe I missed the.
We map competencies according to ESCO. Yeah.
Any other immediate reaction? Okay, then I leave the floor to
No
Franz.
reaction also from online, so go
Okay,
on, please.
perfect. But I will leave also some time after the presentation of Franz. So Franz, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let's see how it works. Does it work? Oh.
The presentation is coming.
Ah. Here it is. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Nice to be here in Milan and to share the first results, preliminary results of our project. Happy to do that. My name is indeed Frans van der Akker. I'm from an engineering company from the Netherlands and involved a lot in skills and those kind of things. And in this project in work package 3, work package of you, your Simona's work package. Let's see how it does work. Nou ja, and I thought it would be interesting to share with you both the process that we used to discuss together this future on talent in this case, and to discuss with you a little bit more what our views are with respect towards this talent perspective. And we thought it would be very interesting not to start with all the problems that are here today, which indeed are severe and are indicated already, but let's talk about this positive future scenario. What will happen if we, European chemical industry, will be a magnet for the talent to come here to work for us, to work in this nice environment, to be skilled, to use your skills for the better, for the industry, for the economy, for sustainability, etc. And so then we will be this global magnet. People from all kinds of the world will come to us. There's no competition. We are just the place to be here. So then it will be that the European Talent Initiative is recognized worldwide for its effectiveness. That's great. The industry will benefit from high-skilled workforce. Isn't it great? We have all kinds of colleagues with talents working for us, working together. And because of all this talent, we will lead in innovation, we will lead in sustainability, we'll be the industry in the world to work for. Just think a couple of seconds to think about this very nice future. And the good news is you're already part of it. You're already working on it. Isn't this great? Okay, so that's what we took as an angle to discuss. Okay, so that means that in a couple of years, when we enter a plant, you might encounter Judith. She will be quite famous at that very moment, and she will be happy to meet you all. And she will explain what's going on in her plant. And so we might say a sentence like this: "I am Judith, and I'm delighted to meet you here. And this factory, why we are here. Indeed, this is all because people are the most important, and people work together, and we have skilled people, and they are coming here." I must read this and what else was there? Yeah, we are powered, and yeah, of course, it's still we have this sustainable environment, autonomous as well, obviously. So this is really great. And how we do this? We invest in our people. We foster diversity, including everybody. A discussion already about the skills that are already there and how to use the skills already available in your working place. We need it all, and we use it now all. We don't even look no longer just at diplomas, we look at skills, the skills that you have, and we invite you to be part of our team. This is what Judith is explaining in our plant. Yeah, it's a hub for lifelong learning. It's happening all there within a team. Is there anyone who doesn't like to work there? Yeah, I see no hands. Everybody would like to work there and be a colleague of Judith. So using that very positive scenario, we started in a roadmap session together to discuss what things do we have to do together. So this is how we use this scenario. We started, I don't know whether there is yeah, there is. Well, at least, yeah. Well, using this future scenario, we then discussed, okay, if this future scenario will be this scenario that is happening, what will be the impact on a number of areas? What does it mean for technology? What kind of technology should we have to be this magnet for people? It's probably not old-fashioned technology. Maybe indeed all those new technology that were mentioned, AI, data-driven, robots, sensors, probably that is what you need to attract people. What else is there? There's the economic impact. What does it mean for economic? What does it mean for business models? Will it be the same as today or will it change? Well, there might be talent pools. Will we hire people? Will they be part of our company? How do we do that? How do we attract people and keep the talent with us? Do we need to be, how to do that? Okay, then there's environmental impact. Obviously, the green skills are needed. If you want to be attractive, you don't have to, you have to have a green plant over there. What is the social impact that you need? Also about the working conditions that you provide. It's about legal and regulatory and about the political aspect. So we used in every workshop those aspects and we discussed together, okay, what will be the impact? Give us an overview. And then, okay, we now had this very positive mind and we have in our mind, what do we need to do on all these 5 aspects? Okay, and then who is involved? Is it just our company? Do we need our suppliers? Do we need our customers? Do we need politics? What involved stakeholders are there? Who do we have to involve? And then obviously, once the picture was emerging in our workshops, then the question was, okay, and what is the first step that we like to take together? So this is how we used our workshops. And it's over there. And then we have this positive scenario over here. Yeah, it doesn't work on the screen, but it's over there. And you can see over there at the right that this is all about the first one, about the labor market. So if we go to this very positive scenario, we don't expect that to be at once in a couple of years there. No, it will take some time, but it will be there in steps, and every 10 years, it will be more positive and it will be more true. But our focus is on this positive scenario. And we really believe that starting with a positive future in mind, we do get energy again. It gives you energy to be part of a positive thing, and it's much harder to be motivated by all kinds of problems. You might feel accountable and responsible, but it's much motivating, at least for a couple of us, to start with a positive scenario in your head. Okay, there are overviews of all the others, mega trends and aspects and competences that you have to work on. So you can use this also for all the other things, but I'm now in the preliminary just focusing on the talent one. So then we ask indeed to every participant, which was an online workshop from people from all over the world contributing. We ask, okay, so what will be the kind of actions that you think about? And this was the reactions. There's no priority in it. This is just a collected set of things that people think we have to do. And it already indicates that it's not an industry only aspect. It's not from the politicians only. It's not from the national perspective. No, we need all these things to work together to build the alliances already discussed today. We have to work together. And you can see over here, there's streamlining the talent mobility, for instance, is one of those issues. How can we really streamline that if we are this magnet, that people are coming from the States to Europe and it will be easy to accommodate them? How to do that? That is one of those things that you have to work on. We have to promote, obviously, if we are a very positive environment to work in, don't keep it secret, but tell them, everybody, the young people and the professional people already working, that this is the place to be. So we have also to work about our image. And probably, again, that will help if you tell them the positive story. It's great to work with us. Do you like to meet the Judiths of today and of tomorrow? Send that positive message to the people to attract them to Europe. National level, it was indicated, okay, then also facilitate this mobility with national agencies, it was said. And there were good examples mentioned by the people in the workshop. I'm not familiar with the details, but I believe immediately that if this is make it in Germany, you can make it also in the Netherlands or in England or France. And probably you can copy if that is a best practice to your own national environment. An industry level, obviously, we have to do all kinds of things. And later this day, I will discuss a number of things of the impact that everything this positive scenario has on our company and how we deal with it. So to build public-private talent pipelines, for instance, recruit them, but also ensure that people stay with your factory. Flexible work models were mentioned. Embrace remote and hybrid work. And imagine, at least in the Netherlands, it's at the moment, if you have those digital skills that we like, there was I was given a presentation that young people can choose out of 5 jobs at the moment, and in the area of Amsterdam, it's up to 35 jobs that they are given and presented, and somehow you have to ensure that they come to us. So to do that, you have really to think about what you offer from all kinds of aspects, not just the technical part of it, using the new tools, but also about how flexible is your working conditions. Can I work remote? Yes or no? How does it work? So think about those things as you like to attract people. There's a brand and employee value proposition related with that. And now see what I said on the last set. I thought so. This is this was the last sheet from me. So thank you.
Thank you so much both to Simona and Franz. Franz, let's hope that this positive scenario will come true as soon as possible. Question from the public. Yes, please.
Hi, Franz. I have a question for you. Do you know Chill by any chance? Because we are a private organization.
I know them very well.
Yeah, so we do that, what you actually say. So we're doing that on a local level, of course, but.
Yeah. No, they're very, in the Netherlands, there are other public-private partnerships obviously working really good. I know them very well. And let's look at all kinds of best practices to copy them and to share them. Again, as it is, share whatever best practice there is. But I do recognize it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We're also in the consortium, so I spoke to your colleague yesterday, so I think we should connect.
Yeah. And I speak with other colleagues of you already.
Okay, good. That's good.
So it's also the other way around. Yeah.
Thanks.
Frederick, please.
Yeah, thank you, Frans. Thank you, Simona. My question is addressed to Frans. So the industry is struggling, as you know, nowadays. Do you have like a top line recommendation for us as ChemSkills partners to approach our industry and say, we have something positive for you? Because right now people are thinking about how are we going to restructure? Are we going to keep our jobs? And then there's someone coming from Brussels asking for us to complete a survey. How do you recommend us to approach this situation? Thank you.
Yeah, very, very interesting and a very important question. Thank you. I would start, I think, with not talking about the employee or the new employee, but let's look at different ages and different interests of them. So don't look at it as if it's one problem, but divide them into sub problems. So how to attract new people, for instance, to your industry, or to keep them is really a different thing. We know that for the young people, the working conditions are very important. That is really very important. The technology that you use is very important. We do know also that if we start attracting people to industry and we promise them that they, for instance, will work with robots or with generative AI, but in practice, once they entered your plant, they're there with this process control situation from, what was it, 10 or 20 years ago, then they will leave very soon. So offering them a very realistic view on what work really is really important. Then the other thing, indeed, to have them join into your innovation process and show that they can work together with you on the innovation is also very important. The other thing, I think really the skills-based, we're talking now about competences. If you really have your learning interventions up to date and that you also recognize skills that are there, not just look at diplomas, then you're also offering really an extra benefit. So I think in general, my advice would be to look at working conditions, at skills and up-learning, to start there and tell them a realistic story. That's at least what I think at the moment. Maybe it helps you, but we can have a discussion as well, because there might be other views around which also are interesting, obviously, to hear.
Good. Any other question for Simona or Franz? I have one from my side, if I may. I would like to, if you can tell to the people what are the next step in the work package 3, meaning now you have identified the mega trends, the competencies, you have developed the skills cards, the skills metrics. So what are your plans for the next 2 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we still have to keep the data which we compiled updated, but we will use it for the strategy and the roadmap from data. The gaps would result from, and as it could be shown the direction in which we would like to go. So definitely we want to focus on future scenarios and roadmap.
Thank you so much. Any other question? No, then I turn to Fabian, who is leading work package 4, which looks at the training offers. So Fabian, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Would you also be able to hand over the pointer to me then? Well, I can also talk without slides, but let's start discussing about the training. So up to now you learned we are talking about skills, we are looking for skills gaps, but after all, we want to train people. And for that, well, we need training offers. And we decided to create training modules that are available. And I give you not only an insight into what we developed at the moment, what we are doing in the future, but also how does this trainings actually look like? So if you want to get reskilled, how you can do that. Let's start the overall idea. So a training module which we offer, these are requalification possibilities. So you are working in the industry and you want to acquire new skills. So you can do a professional development and get new skills by learning. We want to teach especially new emerging skills, especially with digitalization and green skills in mind, to be up to date, but also to react to trends from our industries. So really to teach up-to-date knowledge. Last but not least, also the trainings that we offer can be online. This is the most common part we do, but we can also offer some offline, in person with trainer support or on self-study. So there's a lot of variety. Main focus is online self-study. Also good to know, these trainings are on entry level. Yeah, so we are not replacing any vocational trainings. We are not replacing any studies. This is just an addition on top of your previous education. This is really important to keep in mind. And the nice part, it's free of charge. So everybody can join these, can train as much as he wants. As long as the EU exists and the platforms exist, these trainings will be there and you can do that. So also good to know, not only for the project duration, but also afterwards. How does this look like? So I give you an example. Let me introduce somebody to you who wants to train. This is Steve. Steve is 39 years old. He has 2 kids. He's happily married. This information is completely irrelevant. However, I think he's the protagonist of the next minute or so. So I think a bit of a backstory is nice. He got promoted in his job, new responsibilities, a new role. So we're really happy for Steve. However, these new responsibilities come with a challenge. He also needs new skills. He has new responsibilities. What is Steve going to do? Well, here we are. We have the Skills Hub from the EU, where you can look for skills online and look for trainings for these skills. So also other EU projects use the Skills Hub. Also, if you have a training as a training provider, you can put your training in there as information, so keywords, a description. So all the trainings which are offered can be found summarized in the Skills Hub. Think about it like a Google search for skills. You go there, you look for the skills that you need. And good for Steve, he found a great match provided by us, ChemSkills. So we have trainings, he found it, he's like, yes, I want to do the skill. He is directed to the learning platform. This is also an EU platform where a lot of blueprint projects in the EU offer trainings. This is the platform where we put our trainings on. He can conduct his training online in this learning platform, pass the training, get a certificate or a micro-credential, and has his new skills. So great job, Steve. This is the overall idea of our training. Yeah. I also mentioned module-based training. So what does that mean? Well, I like to think about Lego bricks in this case, and I give you an example what I mean. Think about these Lego pieces as the pool of skills. Many skills that we have that we could train. With module-based training, what you could do is you could individually pick skills that you need and just get trained with these specific skills. So you don't need to do a full training where maybe half of the skills are relevant for you. No, you can individually pick, this is what I need. We can also have presets, different skill sets. So job roles combined of different skills, which are already there, which are already nicely described, or you can customize your skill set as you wish and do your own training to your needs. So this is the idea of module-based training. So really can modify my training to my needs in specific. I give you an example from myself. I'm an assistant professor. This is my job or my occupation. I have different job roles. I'm a lecturer, I'm a supervisor, I'm a project manager. In all these roles, I need different skills. So I need, for example, as a lecturer, presentation skills, teaching skills, but also assessment skills. And for example, presentation skills is something I need them as a project manager here today. I also need them in my lecture room. It's technically speaking the same skills, but I can apply them in different roles of my job. So this is an example where, one specific skill helps me in different roles and can also be used in different job roles. Where are we right now? What are we currently developing? So we have in total 10 training providers in our consortium who develop training for all the different sectors that Simona introduced beforehand. State of the art now is that we are currently working on 22 defined training modules all over subsectors. We have a lot of input from desk researchers, from surveys, from conferences, interviews with companies, but also our own expertise. We expect to have 50 plus more modules by the end of this project. So a total at least of 60, but I expect actually at least 100. And I hope I don't put too much pressure to my training providers now, but 100 sounds nice, I think. There are already 4 training modules on our platform, which are ready to be piloted. So they are not open for public yet. They will be soon, but for now we need to pilot them. We need to get feedback. And here you see already this is mainly related to green skills. But for example, the first one is a training on cellulose. So what is cellulose? It's a green material, renewable material. It's available in abundance, which can replace in some applications possibly fossil-based ingredients. And it can be used in many different sectors. So for example, in the rubber sector, but also in the plastic sector. So it's quite a transversal training for many different subsectors. And the second training, there is a specific one where cellulose then is used as an ingredient in rubber compounds. To give you just an example, we have a transversal skill for all subsectors basically, and then one specific for the rubber sector in here. But this is what we have currently ready to be piloted. We have an overview of many more training models which we're currently working on. So this is just the starting phase. Now we gathered all the input over the last 2 years of what is the needs. And you see already here, there are also some digital skills in here, AI, agriculture, plastics, recycling. So a lot of different parts which are very important for our industry nowadays, but also in the near future. That's it already from my side. This is my team. If you have questions to what we are doing, if you have input for us, we are always happy to get inspiration. Please get in contact with us. And if you have questions to me right now, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fabian.
Many compliments for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. So you, at least the presentation part is already good from my side, at least. Anyway, two questions. The first one, how do you select the trainees? So there is, how do you, because you know that it's important for a successful training to have good educators. So how did you do that? And this is the entry point. Do you assist or is completely self-assessment from the learners? Where is the entry point? How they evaluate their competencies before going ahead to select a module or something like that? Did you see some assistance from this point of view?
So thank you very much for the question. It's a good point. So you mean, how do I select the right training module for me? When you go to the Skills Hub, to the platform, you can specifically look for skills. These are also connected to ESCO, also the skills which we have inside the training. And then you find a detailed description about the content of the training. So you basically get a description about all the matches which fits your skills need. You get a description, but from the description, including the containing skills which will be transferred to you, hopefully, when you do the training and you pass the exam. So from that information containing skills and description of the training, you can choose. This is the selection process. When it comes to the assessment, this is a different story. So if you do so I would say 80+% of all the trainings that we develop will be in self-study. So you also need to assess yourself. So there cannot be any trainer interaction. This is done by an online assessment, which gives you random questions and you need to answer them. So we have a big question data bank for all skills covered, and we make sure that every skill that you select is also selected in the assessment, and then you get random questions. And also it's a multiple choice. So this is a difficult part. So we can discuss about this is the best way to train, but it's the most practical way to do it in self-study. But there's also quite a high threshold. You need 80% to pass, for example. So that also excludes a bit like the guessing chance. And yeah, so you need to take it serious to get assessed and to pass. Did this answer your question? Okay.
There are some also tools, online guidance that you can use to make a self-assist with the self-evaluation. Because I was in a project that is called Dear Skill that made exactly this. That's why I ask you if there is something online.
I'm more than happy to receive some information from you. Yeah. So.
Other questions in the room? I have one from me.
Good.
If you can, Fabian, explain how are the training models structured, meaning whether it's more, let's say, theoretical training, or there is also foreseen an interactive part, both in the learning and also in the test.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, it's an online training, so the possibilities are limited, but on the learning platform that we are using, we have a tool which is called H5P, where you can create a lot of interacting elements. So you can do a drag and drop, also a multiple choice. You can say, you can put a picture and you need to select a specific, for example, you have a graph and you need to select a specific part of the graph showing if there's a value or not, for example. So there's a lot of playing around with interactive elements, and we really encourage also all our partners to use it as much as possible, because nothing is more boring than either just reading text or which I experienced myself also as I created MOOCs in the past, which means that I recorded 1.5 hours of PowerPoint lectures, which the process is quite not very pleasant, let's call it like this. Listening to myself for 1.5 hours isn't either. So it is really nice that we have a lot of tools where we really can be a bit more interactive and playful. Then the learning at least becomes a bit easier. Let's say it like this. It would also be the possibility to include this in the assessment, but we decided not to do so. So to stick with really multiple choice to be consistent.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Any other question? Not in the room. I don't see any question in the chat. So we are actually ahead of schedule. So I would suggest we take a coffee break and we convene at 11. So 10 minutes before what was scheduled. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had a good coffee break. Now we are back with a session on industry contribution. So we will have a presentation from Edoardo Dalla Torre and Andrea Beretta from the University of Milan, which will give us an overview of some findings of a research that they did, together with some company representatives. I leave the floor to Veronica to give a couple of words and introduce the companies.
Thank you, Eleonora, and welcome again to everybody. I kindly ask the companies online if they can open the screen, and I would like to thank you, first of all, University of Milan. We have a long story of collaboration with them from some years ago regarding skills mismatch and how to attract and retain talent in our industry. So we are very pleased to have them here again with this new collaboration. And we are very happy and would like to thank you, in particular, 3 of the companies who participated to this new survey that are Intercos Group with Elisabetta Rivolta, HR Director, Unifarco, Stefano Francescato, R&D Director, and Sun Chemical Group with Fiorenza Raggi, that is the Marketing Communications. So after the first presentation of University of Milano, you will hear from their direct voice their experience in training in both digital and green activities. And so we are very happy to leave the floor to my friends from University of Milan, please.
Thank you, Eleonora. Veronica and Hanni. We are also very happy to be here again, I would say, after the last year conference in Novi Sad. I see many of you were there, so you probably remember our first step in this research. What we are going to present today is basically the second step of the research, as I will explain you in a moment. I'm Edoardo Della Torre, together with me Andrea Beretta, but we should say now that actually the project was conducted by a team of researchers. Here in the room there is also Ludovica Airaghi and Francesco Fumagalli, who are part of the project. The pointer seems not...
Who's there?
Okay. So basically this research that we are going to present you as a contribution to the debate for today is grounded, as you can imagine, on the twin transition, the so-called double process that companies are facing nowadays. The idea behind the twin transition, as most of you know, is that the digital and the green transitions should not be considered as autonomous process, but rather as an interdependent process where digital investments and green investments combines for defining new strategy and new market position of companies. Clearly, this is a very important point because we can see how difficult it is for companies to address just one of the two transitions, or even the two in an autonomous way. If you think of combining the two into one single strategy and one single type of investment, for example, using technologies for reducing and improving the environmental impact of the company, this became much more complex to manage, especially in terms of skills, which is the topic of our debate today. You can do investments, but then you need people to work on this process. So basically, there are high adaptation costs, which we should say, and also there is the need to change the way in which companies define their strategies on the market. So new framework for analyzing the market positioning together with new skills required for addressing the new challenges that they need as companies need to address. Together with strong employment and let's say more generally EU regulation around these two topics, which is becoming more and more complex, companies, we should not forget that companies should also be compliant with regulations, which is not easy, really not easy to address. So together with investments and let's say care of compliance with regulation, companies also needs to invest a lot on internal skills, what we define as the organizational human capital. We say organizational in the sense that what matters here is not simply the kind of competencies that individual has, but rather the set of the overall competencies available to the organization. So we are not strictly focusing on employees, but rather on organization and how organization can invest in skills and make these skills available and exploitable in a positive way by the organization itself. This again make the picture more complex in the sense that it's not enough, for example, invest in training and providing skills. You should also be sure to have the tools, the process, and whatever you need to exploit this set of competencies that you are investing on. An investment on skills may be related to, let's say, augmentation of existing roles through upskillings, providing new skills to already present and effective job positions, or rather more drastically, let's say, setting new job profiles with completely new competencies in what is called a process of reskilling of the workforce. Some skills became obsolete, you need new one. It's not just adding skills on something existing, you should build from zero in some cases. These two processes are the processes that we are analyzing in this research. As Veronica said in the introduction, we already performed a research a couple of years ago that was presented in Novi Sad last year to this kind of audience. And that was exactly the starting point for this second round of research, because basically what we found in that first report was that companies, almost all companies, needed new skills, whether digital or green, for a wide range of job roles that they have in their company. So there was a high level, without going into the details of which kind of skills emerged as most important, but basically there was a very high needs of new skills together with new positions that they listed us as necessary for properly facing the transition. So that was the starting point for us, and we wanted to know more, going more in deep to see what they are actually doing for addressing this skill gap that they perceive, that they declare in some way. And we already know that they were mainly addressing the skill gap by using internal training courses on their own, basically. There was also kind of collaboration with educational institutions like universities, ITS in Italy, or other vocational training providers. But most of the activities they declared were addressed internally through the internal expertise. This is something that is in some way in line with some of the previous presentation where France said that we need companies need to well known what they already have at their internal. This is a very important point because there are a lot of competencies in most companies that are latent in some way. I don't know if in English exists as a term, latent, but somewhere not discovered yet by the organization. And these kind of internal courses may help in discovering something that is there but is not came yet at the surface of the organization. But in any case, let's say this is the framework within which we decided to launch this new research. Our focus here is not only to define and describe some best practices. This is the core contribution of this report, but it's not the only one. We also want to provide a bit broader picture about what is actually happening in terms of training investments within companies in relation to the twin transition. So we want also to better understand the situation at a systemic level, how they are, let's say, partnering with external institutions, which are the main topic that they are addressing, for which kind of organizational population, and so on. And for doing that, we involved five companies, three of which are here today and will tell us in few minutes some of their best practices. We focus on the consumer chemical subsector within the WPSA, if I'm not wrong. This is a contribution particularly for the WPSA. Three phases for the research. Phase one, we defined and we prepared a short preliminary questionnaires for companies where we asked details about the kind of training they are investing on. On the basis of the answers to the questionnaires, we developed a grid for the interview where we, let's say, talk speed directly with HR managers and other functional managers. We went more in deep, analyzing obstacles, kind of training, types of partnerships, and so on. And then the last phase, which is this one, where the report is ready, almost ready, let's say. We are still in a draft phase, but we are very close to the final version of the findings. And on the basis of these 5 interviews, we collected 13 best practices, 13 training programs, 7 on digitalization, 6 on green transition. In the report that will be available, you can find a summary of each one of these 13 training intervention, very detailed, so that they may serve also as best practice that can be replicated in other companies. Turning to the key finding, I leave the floor to Andrea that will shortly present the main finding of the study. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Edoardo. Thank you all. So before starting, I would say that the analysis shows that companies are more focused on digitalization now. So I'm more focused on training about digitalization, and the first word that is that appears is Gen AI, generative artificial intelligence. So all the companies are in a way or another are handling with this topic, and they need to respond quickly, flexibly, and at a scale to the growing demand for reskilling and upskilling, especially with the generative AI. That is the first area of training programs that we have discovered in some way. The companies, to address this challenge, the companies have adopted a gradual multi-level approach. So they are at the first phase, they are launching a sort of digital literacy programs. So something that, for example, we will see later, basic information about how to use ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot for a broad group of organizational population. And then second step is to focus in more detailed way to some special functions, for example, marketing and sales functions. Okay, but we will see later. Okay, Eduardo, we can go back later to see the other areas. But as you can see, from the experiences collected, a T model emerges. So first layer, initial broad-based horizontal digital literacy. So seminar on AI awareness, AI starter kit, cybersecurity learning pill, that is another of the key areas that we analyzed. And then a subsequent vertical and more specialized interventions for specific function or professional profiles. For example, ICT people. Digital Innovation Observatory is a training activity especially designed for ICT people, or a digitalization module in VT program for colorists. This is a program specific designed for colorists, and within this broader program, there is a specific module on digitalization. So aim to give the colorists all the set skills for handling with digitalization. So coming back to the previous slide, AI tools for data analysis and processing is the first key area that we identified. The second one is related to development of digital communication skills, applicable both internally for internal communication and externally for market communication. We have seen training action, especially designed for sales and marketing people. The third key area is cybersecurity, with a focus on digital security practices across all the organizational levels, because cybersecurity impacts all the organizational levels. Again, here with a broader view, a large people of a large target audience and a small set of hours invested in this. Pills, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of cybersecurity pills. The fourth area is about the digital omnichannel strategies, useful for integrating physical and digital channels in customer engagement. So again, more focus on specific roles, more related to sales and marketing roles. Okay. All these initiatives focus exclusively on addressing the skill gap of employees covering existing roles. So we are not talking about new roles, new emerging roles. Okay, we are talking about filling the gap on existing roles. So upskilling, in some way also reskilling, but no new roles. And external players, external trainers play a central role in designing and delivering of the training activities. And we are talking about university, but also, let's say, supplier, private provider of digital technologies. So they sell digital technologies, they train on this. But universities play also a role. All in all, the most important point is that companies have the need to respond quickly, flexibly, and at a scale to the growing demand for reskilling and upskilling. So quickness is a keyword. Flexibility is another keyword. And the possibility to go to a large audience makes the difference in designing the training modules. In some way, we can say that also for green skills training, we can group the programs, the training programs that we have discovered into 5 key areas. First area is related to the circular economy. Especially the aim of these trainings are to give people the context within the companies are acting. So creating awareness of how the company within the people work handle with the circular economy. So first keyword is awareness. Another key area is related to sustainable marketing and communication techniques. So more specific for also in this way, in this case, sales and marketing departments. Another area is more related to research and development roles is the area related to eco-design techniques and life cycle assessment. Then another area is related to ESG metrics, how to interpret and apply ESG metrics. The last one is about international requirements and regulation. As in the case of digital initiatives, no training programs are created, are designed for new roles, but as in the case of digital initiatives, we are talking about filling the gap. In this case, the involvement of external trainers, even if we will see there are some initiatives that are involving external partners, are more designed and conducted internally with internal people. The model is similar. We have seen the same model as before. So some initiatives are designed to for a large audience with a low number of hours, less than 8 hours. In some cases, we are talking about 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of training sessions. And a more targeted training activities designed for professional roles that are affected by the green transformation. For example, we are talking about training on life cycle assessment for some specific roles, technical, but also marketing people. Training on green claims, specifically designed for customer interaction. We will see later also some example more detailed in this. So what are the expected benefits and main challenges? From a digital standpoint of view, I think something is missing there. I remember with four expected benefits. Okay, maybe something is missing. Okay, well, so companies reported, okay, maybe not a problem. The first expected benefit is keep up with technological advances with more flexible training models. So keywords, flexibility. The second point, the second benefit expected is provide skills that can be immediately applied in daily work. So how to use ChatGPT, how to use Microsoft Copilot. So something very immediately applicable. Reduce organizational cost and individual efforts. So since the quickness of the technology is very high, so the speed of new tools is very high, companies need to be okay, flexible, okay, quick, but also cost effective. They okay. On the other side, what are the challenges? Rapid pace of technological change. So is what I was saying before. Time constraints for training design, and also budget limitations. So they tend to buy small trainings, small pills from external providers, very useful in a short term. On the green standpoint of view, the expected benefits are raising overall awareness, fostering a culture of sustainability, and also providing specialized training for developing professionals who are difficult to recruit, especially in R&D department. The expected challenges are mainly is extending participation beyond office-based departments. So when we are talking about operative people within plants, this is something that emerged as a problem, how to involve them in a program of raising the awareness on sustainability. It's easier to do it with white-collar people, okay? So this is one point that they are struggling with. Closing remarks, then we will leave the word to the companies that will enter the three of the practices. The companies in the consumer chemical sector have adopted distinct yet complementary strategies to navigate the twin transition. A two-level training model, team model emerges. So phase one, broad-based literacy for all employees. A phase two, specialized programs for targeted function or roles for digital transition and green transition. Partnerships with educational institutions are strategic to co-design upskilling and reskilling pathways. Addressing the twin transition effectively calls for a systemic approach, integrating companies, education providers, and local ecosystem. Digital transition currently shows a greater momentum, so widespread literacy initiatives and specialized digital training are already in progress. And despite differences, both spheres yield similar organizational benefits: enhanced awareness and technology sustainability adoption, strengthen corporate culture, and development of internally grown, high-skilled professionals with both technical and business expertise. So this is a sort of summary of our findings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea and Edoardo. And now we can actually leave the floor to the three company representatives that you mentioned. So I would leave the floor to Elisabetta Rivolta from Intercos Group, followed by Stefano Francescato from Unifarco, and Fiorenza Raggi from Sun Chemical Group, SPA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you, and happy to be here today to take our witness. I'm sharing my screen because I prepared a few slides for this meeting today. Okay, I think you are seeing my screen at the moment.
Yes, we can see you. Thank you.
So thank you very much for the contributions. I think that the research that we just had is really, really interesting, and I'm happy to be aligned as Intercos to the other companies that you interviewed, because I really, really found some similarities into the research and the studies that you show so far. I'm Elisabetta Rivolta, and I'm head of talent management and internal communication and CSR here at Intercos. We have talked about best practices. I don't know if I'm taking a best practice today, but for sure I'm taking the witness of a path that we are leading towards digital transformation for our employees. Intercos is a B2B company. We have more or less 6,000 people in the world, and we are leader in cosmetics. So we are not a brand. We really work for the brands. We have a turnover of 1 billion per year, more or less. And we are leaders in the innovation and production, of course, of makeup products and skin, personal care and fragrances products for our customers in the world. So we are a global company based in Italy, but with a lot of branches in the continents of the world. Our commitment is very, very strong to digital transformation today. I will focus on the digital skills that we saw some minutes ago. And I think that the company has always been a leader in the innovation of the products. Of course, all the processes into the company have a little bit to chase this innovation and adapt, improve in order to be always more productive, fast, and a player and a partner for our companies. Today we are seeing a lot of skills lacking on the market, and we are trying to create some awareness and some upskilling and reskilling for our employees here at Intercos. So I will take you the witness of 3 strategic digital initiatives that we are running in 2025. As I told you, it's a path because it's the beginning of a roadmap that we want to implement in the next years. But we really believe that this kind of skills have to be promoted within our group and within the job market in general. So the first initiative that we had this year is a seminar dedicated to the artificial intelligence awareness. So we implemented some trainings on this topic involving more than 2,500 people in our company. So we tried to connect a lot of people in order that we can create some basis about these new tools that are really, really spread now on the market. So we worked on the awareness of artificial intelligence. Then we are promoting, but already since 2023, so I would say that it's the first initiative that we put in place on this area, are some cybersecurity learning pills. We had a very, very severe cyber attack last year. And so we are promoting within the company a culture that creates a sort of prevention of this type of attacks that can hurt the organization in a very, very severe way. And then, as I saw also from your presentation, we are adding some digital modules to some technical programs that we are running at this moment. In particular, we will talk about the Colorist Academy that we are running this year with existing employees in the company and with people that we hired from the external market to attend this academy. So I would start from the artificial intelligence and go a little bit more in depth. The challenge was this year that we observed that a lot of people had a spontaneous interest and usage in generative AI, like ChatGPT. We have an open ChatGPT here at Intercos, so we don't block this tool from our IT systems. And so our employees started to use this tool in a very, very heavy way. But however, this usage was not regulated by internal policies or trainings. And so we worked with the IT department in order to collaborate with an external provider to design a first training seminar about the awareness of these tools and in order to give some literacy to our employees. It was a global format, so we delivered this training to the entire population worldwide. So the 2,000 and more people, white collars that I mentioned before. We started from an assessment. So we wanted to understand the level of these participants about the AI knowledge. So it was really, really useful because to deliver some trainings, you need also to assess before, which is the level of your population. And so this thing enabled us to have some data to tailor this kind of program. Then after a kickoff meeting to deliver and to tell the objectives, we implemented 3 webinars. The first one, really understanding AI. So from buzzwords to the real meaning, what is AI, what is generative AI, machine learning, data analysis. So we gave some definitions and some story about artificial intelligence. The webinar 2 was more concrete because we explored some cases in our history, in our industry, and with a focus on cosmetic sector, we explored some applications that are used in our market segment. And then, and I think that it was really, really important, this third webinar, about the safety and ethics about the artificial intelligence, because we need to navigate gray zones in terms of regulation, risks, frameworks, and so on. And we delivered to our people a sort of warning for the responsibility for an informed usage of artificial intelligence. Then we provided also some on-demand recording, digital library resources in order that people interested could deepen this argument and subject. Of course, it's the first kickoff of our path here at Intercos, because next year we will go more in depth on the functions and on the tools. But it was really, really useful in terms of engagement of the people and in terms also to prevent an incorrect usage of artificial intelligence. The second pillar that I exposed before was on the cybersecurity learning pills. So continuous protection of the company, giving...
Sorry, just for a matter of time, if you can a little bit speed up on the last slides.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to give enough time also to the others. Thank you.
Okay. So I skip this and I conclude with the T-shaped approach that you mentioned before, and that's our methodology, of course. So we are on the horizontal part in this moment, so awareness for all the people involved. Then we are going in vertical depth, for example, this Colorist Academy that we launched, also inserting some digital modules in order to integrate strategically all the aspects of our business. Thank you very much. If you need some information more, I'm available, and I'm available also to share the presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elisabetta. It's really interesting to see how many things you are doing in terms of digital skills. I will give the floor to the next speaker, Stefano Francescato from Unifarco. But I will collect the questions after the session. So if you have any question also for Elisabetta, please bear with me, and at the end of the session, I will give you some time.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I hope you are seeing my screen, my presentation. Are you?
No, we hear you, but we don't see the presentation.
Let me check. Oh, just a second. Now, are you seeing it?
Yes, now it's perfect. Thank you.
That's fantastic. So, okay. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today. I'm truly pleased to share our experience in developing green skills within our organization. But before diving in our case study, let me briefly introduce who we are. Our company, it's a B2B company founded in 1982 in the Dolomites that develops, manufactures, and distributes cosmetics, food supplements, medical devices, and functional food, all specifically tailored for the pharmacy channel. Today, our presence extends beyond Italy with different branches in Europe, where we continue to support pharmacies by offering innovative and sustainable products. Speaking of sustainability, our mission was and is to take care of people's well-being, and for some years now, also of the environment. This is why more than 5 years ago, we started our eco-design formulation project. The main goal of this project was to strengthen the green skills among our formulators. We have defined it by creating a system that's based on the EACEA analysis, so the life cycle assessment analysis, capable of providing detailed information and environmental information to our formulation team. But we also wanted to instill a sort of new mindset or a method of selecting raw materials that not only are well performers, of course, but also that have a well-known environmental impact. At the basis of our case study is the strong relationship that we have built with universities, in particular with the University of Padua. Our scientific collaboration began in the early 90s, but it was in 2012 with the creation of the spin-off that's called UniRed that our partnership really deepened. UniRed is for us a sort of a gateway or an outpost, so a scientific hub that connects us with other universities, labs, and research teams. And speaking about connection, what set our approach apart was the way we learned by sharing skills, different skills. We formed a focus team, but also a multidisciplinary team made of formulators, basic research scientists, engineers, IT specialists, and LCA experts, involving different entities. Of course, our spin-off, UniRed, the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences of the University of Padua, and Ambiente Italia, that's an environmental consultancy and design company. So over these years, this group worked sharing expertise and learning from each other. So far, our method has been, of course, practical, but also modular, with a constant exchange of knowledge. In fact, this kind of approach is essential to develop a robust and a scientific process for the collection of this particular data. Starting with the definition of the methodology, the outcome of this collaboration has been the launch of a new feature in our formulation software that's able to screen the raw material scoring. So now our formulators have access to specific and also calculated information on the environmental impact of each raw material that we have in our warehouse. So these information are based on 16 different parameters, ranging from the carbon footprint or the eutrophisation, water and soil consumption, and so on. So this tool enables our team to make more informed and more sustainable choices every day. We know that this project was only a first step toward the development of sustainable products. In fact, we must extend our eco-design tool from individual raw materials to the final product. So taking into account the manufacturing processes, the packaging selection, the transportation, and so on. To do that, probably or for sure, we must bring into the team another player, so the AI, and we are working on that. And what about barriers? During the project, we face different challenges, such as collecting reliable data from raw material producers, and also translating complex information into a user-friendly system. All this by maintaining a collaborative environment. But in our view, the diversity of expertise that were at the table has been also an asset in solving these kind of problems. So in the end, it will be very important to find the right way and, let me say, a sustainable way to communicate sustainability in cosmetics to guide both pharmacists and consumers. With this last slide, I would thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Many thanks, Stefano, for your very interesting presentation. Since we are a little bit running out of time, I will pass the floor immediately to Fiorenza Raggi from Sun Chemical Group SPA for her presentation, and then we collect some questions from the participants. Fiorenza, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Do you see my presentation? Thank you for, yeah, you see my presentation.
It's in a presentation mode, so we see it a little bit little on the screen.
A little bit.
I think if you are using double screen, most probably you have to share the other one.
I close my... Okay, now it's better? No.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Above all, thank you for involving us in this important project. My name is Fiorenza Raggi and I represent Sun Chemical, that is one of the three company case. Now, a brief presentation of Sun Chemical. Sun Chemical, a member of the EACEA group, is a leading producer of packaging and graphic solutions. Together with the EACEA, Sun Chemical has a combined annual sales of more than $7 billion and 21,000 employees. The Italian company is placed in the Milan metropolitan area with 2 production sites specialized in solvent-based and water-based inks and coatings, as well as sheet-fed screen printing and UV inks and coatings. And these products are primarily intended for the food, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic packaging sector. And Sun Chemical has constantly demonstrated a strong commitment to sustainability and circularity. Its green strategy is built upon 5R framework: reuse, reduce, renew, recycle, and redesign. And this framework governs sustainability practices across the 3 core pillars of the company's operations: production processes, product and service development, and cross-sector partnership and collaborations. Sun Chemical's strategic objectives include reducing global CO2 emissions, increasing the use of bio-based renewable and recyclable materials, supporting customers in designing sustainable packaging solutions, and promoting the value of these initiatives throughout the supply chain. It is important to say that since 2009, ChemSkills has published its annual sustainability report. And then, thanks to centrally driven sustainability policies, the company has long embarked a path of continuous improvement in its environmental performance. In 2022, it joined a project promoted by Federchimica in collaboration with Ergo, that is a spin-off of University of Sant'Anna of Pisa, and CertiQuality, aimed to develop a measurement tool based on key indicators to assess the level of circularity within companies in the ChemSkills sector. And ChemSkills was actively involved in this project and contributed to the creation of the tool together with 13 participating companies. This initiative led to the creation of Coach. Coach is a customized tool designed to identify strengths and areas for improvement, support internal awareness, and guide strategic planning towards circular economy goals. This is an example of the dashboard. Coach is structured around 6 stages of the value chain: sourcing, design, production, logistics, product use, and waste management. And the assessment highlighted areas of strong performance while also identifying opportunities for improvement. And it is very important to say that 3 years later, we repeated the evaluation and achieved 4 percentage point increase in our circularity index, demonstrating tangible progress in its sustainable journey. With the aim of raising awareness across its entire workflow, ChemSkills launched comprehensive training initiatives on sustainability, reaching all employees, both administrative and operational staff. The initiative had the aim to provide foundational education and raise awareness on the principles of sustainability and the circular economy, increasing individual awareness. Sustainability has become a shared social value to be promoted within the broader community, including social and family environment. Through these sessions, participants are introduced to the core concepts and are offered practical insight into how such principles may be effectively integrated into operational duties and daily work practices. And to support this effort, the company engaged Ergo to deliver a dedicated training program in 2023 and 2025 focused on the 3 core thematic areas. The first, sustainability for business, with the concept and principle of sustainability, Agenda 20 and 30, sustainability development goals, and sustainability management as competitive level in B2B and B2C, and some very important topics such as carbon footprint and recycle. The second core thematic areas were circular economy for businesses, challenges and opportunities. And the third, measuring circularity with our experience with Coach. And this training program has fostered open dialogue across the organization, enabling employees to develop greater awareness of the transition towards a sustainable economy, a shift that will also positively impact the company's business activity. Investing in green education is not merely a response to Italian and international regulations. It is a strategic move to enhance operational efficiency, reduce waste, and consequently costs, while contributing to revenue growth. And throughout targeted training, the company has equipped its workforce with the skills needed to implement sustainable practices. The sustainability courses provided participants with the tools to develop strategies that address today's environmental challenges, making sustainability an integral part of the corporate culture. And sustainability also emerged as social value, generating positive effects, not only within the workplace, but also in employees' families and broader communities. And this four-stage training program delivered tangible, operational, economic, and social benefit. Thank you very much for your attention.
Many thanks, Fiorenza. I'm looking at the public. Are there any questions from the audience?
Hi, so I'm Valentine from ECG, and I have two questions. One is addressed to you, and it's how did you pick the companies? Did you contact more companies and then they didn't answer, and those were the ones that you ended up working with? And do you think that the results that you got from them were representative of the market? And the second question is addressed to the first and last company that was online. Do you also have some sort of evaluation process for the trainings that you have already implemented? And if so, are you thinking of comparing your evaluation with the other companies to compare the results? Thank you.
Okay, I answer to the first question. We were helped by Federchimica. We involved a bit more companies, but we ended with these 5. It's a more qualitative research, so I cannot say that is representative of the entire market. We focus on consumer chemicals, and we identified these 5 ready to be interviewed. The time frame was quite short, so it wasn't so easy to involve many companies. So.
And Fiorenza, if you want to reply to the second question from Valentine.
I'm very sorry. Could you repeat me the question? I have some technical problem.
Do we know if she's
coming?
Okay. Is she online still?
I see her on the screen, but I
see her on the screen, but she can
speak. So Angelo, maybe you have the question for him.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the question.
Yes, thank you. My name is Angelo Blanken from Haskoning. First of all, thank you to all the speakers. Really interesting to hear. As part of work package 6 of the ChemSkills project, dealing with or working with the consumer chemicals sector, I'm happy to let you know that we will be continuing the work of the University of Milan. Also in the Netherlands, we've conducted 5 interviews based on the methodology designed by the University of Milan so far. And we also received some online responses to the questionnaire that was part of this survey. I would like to invite all the companies here today in person or online to participate in the journey that we all make together towards making this transition in the chemical industry and in the various sectors happen. So please reach out, consumer chemicals companies, but also other companies to us, and we are looking forward to be working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelo. And indeed, we encourage all the company representatives to be involved in the ChemSkills project. We are a little bit behind schedule, so I thank the speaker, Eduardo, Andrea, and also the speakers online from the companies. It was very interesting to hear from you. And now I leave the floor to Szilárd Perksi. Sorry for the pronunciation. I did my best. He is head of office for innovation and scientific relations at Richter Gedeon, and he will give, yes, please. And he will give another, let's say, business company perspective. So Szilárd, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And can I get a pointer, please? Yeah. Before I would just start, I would come back to what Annie said in the opening speech and what the colleagues mentioned from the companies. It's really about the competitiveness. Well, the way you said it, I just put it out, to invest in skills and competencies is to increase competitiveness. And I think that's not the main feature of companies, but definitely is a top priority in our life. And I'm not going to talk about trainings today, but a different approach. A mid-pharma company. How does a mid-pharma company approach and change the attitude toward collaboration with the academia? And the way one of you just mentioned, it's kind of to be a magnet to attract talents. And I hope I can give you some insights on that one. And here on the center, I thought it was there, but that's okay. Don't have a lot of time. I'll try to stay within the limits, but I wanted to give you some insights. What are the key drivers in the pharma industry? And this is the name of the game. It's a very dense one, but what we are looking for when we are in the research and development phase in the pharma industry, have a more effective and less side effects of a new drug. And when we start to design a new molecule, you have to consider a lot of factors. I'm not going to read that one out because that doesn't really matter from our perspective. But what really matters here regarding the skills are the main features that we are facing during research and development in the pharma industry. It's really a long process. So it takes minimum 10, 12, 15 years to develop a new drug with regulations and clinical trials. And it's a complex method. And you have medical doctors, chemists, biologists, pharma, engineers, legal background, regulators, whatever you name it. So the whole set is pretty much needed from the technical skills point of view. But here comes the other one. Yeah, it takes a lot of money and it's a risky one. I just put down a reference here. Nearly 8% of the success rate. So when you start off a process and it's a long one, you need to reset the failure and you restart it again and try to achieve the goal that you set out for yourself. So when we look at this slide, what pharma industry needs, need a strong technical skills, competencies. And I have to mention that soft skills are pretty much important, attitudes, as we could call it. And I'll go deeper into that one. Just the normal, when we talk about a company, this is the company. Not going to read that through. That's a multinational company on 5 continents. What is pretty important from the skills point of view, that is a vertically integrated operation. So when you look at research, development, manufacturing, sales, marketing, wholesale, we need all sorts of technical skills. And the other one that is very important is collaboration. So when we talk about, and you mentioned that, I was quite happy to hear that communication within the company and around the company is getting much more focused and more important. And it has a strong relation to competitiveness. What is really important from the research and development point of view, that we spend 10% of our turnover on R&D. That's like a 200 million euros a year, which makes us in the top 200 EU companies. But I just put it up here. It's also from a reference from an EU industrial R&D scoreboard. What you can see here, that Richter is not on this list. Those are the top 20 global readers, R&D investors. And you can also recognize that not so many Chinese companies on this slide. Some of them should be, definitely. But when you look at the global competitiveness, and when I look at EU competitiveness, you can count how many EU companies on the top 20 global R&D investors list. Not too many, but all of them are concentrated around IT. We talked about digitalization, AI, yeah, hot topic, pharma and biotech, and the automotive industry are the top leaders in this competition. And here's the center of my speech. So Richter Innovation Ecosystem. We started this initiative 2022 when we somehow realized that if we want to be competitive, we somehow have to change our attitude towards academia, because we are a very research-oriented company. We basically export knowledge. That's what we say. Our biggest market is EU and the US. So somehow we had to understand that the competition is around ecosystems and not just individual companies. So these are the main aspects that we came up regarding the ecosystem, how we would like to work with academia. And it's around the strategy. And we invited many great researchers around our field to work together in an open innovation setup. So it's not a contract work, as usually we say in the industry, but they bring their ideas to the table and we start to talk. We have a platform for that. We meet 4 times a year around these 3 networks. The networks are around the strategy of the company. 2 of them are around the central nervous system, and 1 of them is around reproduction. All of the networks has an unmet need. So here's the market needs that we identified. We don't know the answers to these questions. So we asked academia to sit down to a table and try to come up with good projects and try to find the answers there. And there are the goals. I'm not going to read that out because, running out of time. And we also realized in the meantime that the core facilities, high-tech laboratories, are pretty much needed for this activity to do that. And when we look at and one of the last slides I have for today, it's not a straightforward way of working. So many connections, and this is actually coming from a study when we try to understand how many connections does Richter has around, and way too many. And it's a static picture here, but it's a dynamic one. So changes every day. We've just talked about the AI and innovation, and the tempo in the industry is just quick and very challenging. But what we did, we set up a framework. We have all the legal requirements ready. 11 legal entities, universities and research institutions around the company, 37 research groups, more than 240 colleagues. So this is the magnet that we attracted. And it's a working platform. We have the core facilities in operation, and we have the 4 workshops within each network every year. So we talk. And here's the communication part that we realized also. It's really, really the key essence that academia should understand how industry works, and industry should be more open towards academia. And find the common ground. And when I listed the key drivers of impact, and at the end of the day is competitiveness, and one reason why I'm here, that this case study, what we believe, what we see is scalable across Europe. Skill development, government support, and regional collaboration, all needed to step up. And I believe when I was preparing for this speech, that as I understood ChemSkills goals, it's kind of a synergy, what I see here, by fostering innovation, competitiveness, and I was quite happy to hear that in your opening speech, and regional collaboration. That's probably why we are all here. And just to give you a proof, and humans, I think that's a key point in the age of AI, that it's really a living platform with great minds and talents. So that's it, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Szilárd. I have an immediate question from my end. I'm not sure I have understood it correctly. Are these partnerships built like in Hungary, or it's multinational? Since the company is multinational, it's
That's didn't really have time to focus on that. At the moment, we started on our home ground, so all of them are Hungarian at the moment. It has legal issues behind it. It was much easier to organize the legal background according to Hungarian law. The language is there, culture. As this is I'm representing a 124 years old company from Hungary, and you have the trust. That is very important that we realized. But as I said, it's scalable. We have many sites around Europe, and we are looking for expanding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the audience?
Sorry, it's just a curiosity, because of this long way between the bench to the market is also in the feed industry. I work with feed industry, and I tell that the legislation also in feed and food additives. But I would like to know, what is the standard deviation? I mean, you told about 8% of is more or less the same for all the field? I mean, you show, or it's different? Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's different when Richter is quite strong in the central nervous system. So when we look at the neurobiology, neuropsychiatric disorders, it's around 6%. When you look at the different indications, like one of the hot topics is biologics at the moment in the pharma industry, and in the oncology, you have better success rate in different indications. So yeah, that's just an average.
Any other question from the public? No, I don't see any question or online. So thank you so much, Szilárd, for your presentation. And we can now move to the next session, which will look at innovation and alliances. So we will have a presentation on another project on micro-credentials. So I invite Antonella Baldi and Francesca Villata for their presentation on the 4EU plus European University Alliance.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind invitation. And during this morning, I signed some questions. What does it mean, attract talent? What Europe, and specifically European universities, can do to attract talent and to take them? And what that we are doing to fill the gap between the university education, that is a formal, established education, and the request in skills and competence from the job markets. What are we doing at European level? Of course, I'm trying to give just some answers, but I would like to say that in this past 6 years, Europe has really mobilized a lot of resources and energies in order to address this challenge. And that's why I would like to, thank you, to explain a little bit the background of that before giving the microphone to my colleague Francesca Villato, who will enter in really more in depth of one of the, I think, very important project that we got on the micro-credential. Okay, so what Europe is doing for educating and attracting talent at an early stage, because what we want is to have them at an early stage. Of course, also more at a professional level, but you know, education, higher education means to keep students during the degree, but also the post-degree level. So European Strategy for University has been launched by the Commission quite after the pandemic, and the title is Building Bridges for Higher Education Cooperation in terms of addressing the need of a more homogeneous education, because in Europe we still have a number of member states with all different educational pathway at the level of university, but also of long life learning. So the first steps was, let's go through a more joint, smooth, and comprehensive European pathway towards the degree and the post-degree. The second point is facilitating transnational education activities. That means collaborations, that means not only research, but mobility of students, of staff, infrastructures, and all this stuff. And of course, what we would like to do is the full deployment also for European student cards initiative, that it means free circulation of students and joint degree that become a level, and these are European joint degrees. To do that, European Commission may put a lot of money on a project through the Erasmus that is called European University Initiatives. We started in 2019, and now we are 64 European university. And we addressed a number of these questions, included also the upskill and reskill initiative that university can somehow support. And we will speak about that later on. So up to now, there are 64 European university alliances, about 570 universities across 35 member states go through this piloting, this big lab of creating a campus. And only in Italy, we have 47 universities among 80 that participate to that initiatives. Only in Milan, we are Statale, Bocconi, Bicocca, Politecnico, 4 different alliances. You can see here some breads, but what is important is that we enroll 11 million students. That means a lot of resources. And we want to attract from abroad students that like to be part of these initiatives. So what is at University of Milan, what happened for us in European Early Ban? Well, we started in 2019. We applied to the first call of European University Initiatives. We are now 8 partners. You can see the name of the universities. What happened is somehow, okay. And we enrolled 324 students and 58,000 academic staff. A lot of projects common, a lot of also associate partners from institutional and companies, and we are organized around 4 main flagships: urban health and demographic change, Europeanism, multilingualism and citizenship, digitalization, and green transition. Well, what is our, what we want is to build one European university among the 8 universities in order to collaborate and joint infrastructure, building one comprehensive European research intensive university, and organizing our work also with the other alliances. We really want to become more attractive in terms of students, but also of professionals, and also at PhD level. That is quite important as well. But we are not a parallel international pathway. We are strongly embedding in our communities of university, but also in our ecosystem. We work with municipalities, we work with company, and we really want to foster in continuity. Just to give you an example, we are written a strategy, 10-year strategy, around our 4 ambitions domain: education, research, innovation, and global outreach. And education, our main goal is that all our students have access to at least one educational component offered by the 8 universities together. Research is to empower the collaborations, to participate to course, but also to, in terms of innovation, to share infrastructures and build new infrastructure together. And then the global outreach, but also local outreach, that is favoring synergies with stakeholders. And in this vein, of course, a number of activities are already been put in place. We had 61 educational projects, 3 joint programs in terms of degree. We have mobilized students, and overall remember that the mobility of students in the all 64 alliance is increased of 400% in 6 years, because over the 6 years, the mobility of students around Europe has been really increased. Then we have also the mobility of professors, research programs, and of course we apply all together to a number of European calls, like the one on micro-credentials that my colleagues will present. And last but not least, we have also a lot of transversal skills that are mentioned that we made available. We made available on our platforms for free to the public. So that's quite interesting, because some of these topics, some of this field, we have already some pills in our portal that could be used, that are free. So we have also workshop more scientifically on open science, but also course in the entrepreneurial management. So MOOCs on data literacy, European citizens. So we are really available and open for collaboration. And with these final statements, I'm happy to give the microphone to Francesca.
Thank you, Antonella, and thank you to Federchimica for having me. Introducing the Fourier Plus MICI, or MICI, the Fourier Plus Micro-Credential Integration Project, which I started working on in March 2025. As an European University Alliance, we are currently developing our approach to micro-credentials in line with the framework established in the 2025 European Commission's Union of Skills. In that communication, the European Commission refers to micro-credentials both as a teaching format, a teaching and training format, and as a certification of the competencies and skills that learners acquire through their teaching, through their educational, through their educational experience. The Erasmus call that we were lucky enough to won actually targeted my digital and green skills, yet we aim to pilot an approach that goes beyond those skills and likely to be extended to other skills in other sectors. The Alliance finds it essential to cooperate with both with policymakers and representatives from various business sectors to ensure that our developing approach is suitable and prepared for the future. And of course, we would be delighted if Federchimica and any member of Federchimica would be interested in cooperating with the project and with the Alliance as a whole in this field, as in all the 4 domains where the Alliance is very active and is pursuing several different projects. The project revolves around 3 key pair of components actually, forming a circular process. It begins with the identification of market relevant skills, which informs the intended learning outcomes and ultimately guides the certification of the acquired skills. The project has adopted a very comprehensive approach that includes, as mentioned, identifying skills and needs, but also designing and delivering micro-credentials. I would also like to stress the importance of our external advisory committee, particularly regarding its role in providing advice on accreditation, legal recognition, quality assurance, and the validation of the approaches and the policy proposals that we will make by the end of the project. We are creating a reusable and flexible model to identify business and societal needs for competencies and skills, but this model also helps learners find relevant training units tailored to their profiles. And of course, here the role of business sectors in shedding light on the most urgent needs for competencies and skills is pivotal. As I mentioned, the project call focuses on digital and green skills. But to build a 4E+ catalog of micro-credentials targeting those skills, we can on one hand rely on the existing 4E+ educational offer, and on the other hand, we are creating a new educational components to fill in some gaps and leverage the alliance cooperation. Entrepreneurship, AI, food systems, global supply chains, and research infrastructures are among the many topics that we are working on in the form of micro-credentials. The 4E+ training units can be combined in different ways based on the desired learning outcomes and the skills. They can be organized vertically, allowing learners to deepen their knowledge and their expertise in a specific skill, or horizontally, catering to those interested in acquiring multidisciplinary competencies around a particular topic. And additionally, a combination of both approaches is possible depending on each learner's profile and expectations. The project also provides some tools to support the co-creation of micro-credentials. This includes first a template to guide trainers in designing the teaching units with a particular focus on competencies, learning outcomes, assessment methods, and ECTS or any other units which is relevant to lifelong learning and professional development. And of course, the associate partner here could play a very important role. The second tool that we make use of and that we plan to make use of is the 4E+ umbrella learning management system, which will be able to connect the learning management systems of all the 4E+ universities and provide access to every student and researcher and external professionals in the 4E+ network. The micro-credentials offered, which will be offered by the 4E+ Alliance, will be showcased on the 4E+ student portal, which will also include a tool for selecting the modules that cater to the reskilling and upskilling needs of individual learners. Lastly, but not least, learners will be provided with a digital certification of the competencies acquired, facilitating visibility, portability, and recognition even internationally. We are currently developing a potential model for legal recognition, drawing on the national experience of certain 4E+ partners and engaging in thorough discussions with policymakers and business representatives. Additionally, the 4E+ quality process will be expanded to include a specialized procedure specifically meant for micro-credentials. This is all from my side. I'm, of course, available for any question, and thank you for your listening.
Many thanks, Antonella and Francesca, for this very interesting presentation. I think we can build kind of cooperation with the ChemSkills project, as we have seen today from the presentation from Fabian. Like there is room for cooperation on this modular-based training. Now I'm looking at the audience. Are there any questions for Francesca or for Antonella? Chiara, please.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And indeed, there is room for cooperation with the ChemSkills project. Of course, I'm Chiara from ECG, also project coordinator of the ChemSkills. My question is, if I understood correctly, as an alliance, you are basically applying for European calls in order to sustain the research and the development of training. So my question specifically is towards the sustainability, because also our project, well, we have a four-year project. We reached the second year, so we started the third one, and it's going to end soon, sooner than expected. How can we sustain the project in a way also after the end? And yeah, this is my question.
Looking at micro-credentials, sustainability was one of the main concerns. And that's why, for the sake of practice, we decided that under the project, we would have delivered only online units, online trainings, also because we are an alliance, so cross-border mobility should be the added value, and the virtual mobility is one of the possibilities that the Alliance pursue in their efforts to provide excellent training. On the other hand, with all the partners to the Alliance have seen that when it comes to lifelong learning, online training seem very well accepted. So this is also one of the reasons why we went for online. And with regard to students, undergraduates, the way how we try to pursue sustainability is to embed the teaching units in the existing study programs. Another approach that we try to pursue is to build progressively small units that can be also combined to form a fully-fledged study program. That's another way to go in the direction of sustainability or more sustainable options.
Yes, question, please.
Which platform do you use for the recognition? Is it?
I think we will use the Erasmus platform. Currently, one of the 4E+ partners, this is Charles University, as they already have a legal framework in Czech Republic for micro-credentials, they already make use of that. So I think we will leverage on that experience and go in that direction.
I also would like to add is that we are really strongly involved with our member states. So especially for the quality assurance and the accreditation of this course, that is quite important. We are strictly linked to our Ministry of University and Education and the National Agency of Evaluation, that is a partner of this project as well. And so this is quite important for, of course, giving also the future of this kind of not only project, but of innovative education.
We have also a question online. They're asking, are the tools developed under 4U+ for creating trainings available for outside Alliance for educators to help them understand and create courses?
Some tools are already available on the 4U+ website in the section Get Involved, subsection Education. We usually publish reports and documents. One of them, for instance, it is aimed at building joint study programs, and we will do the same with the micro-credentials. So all these guiding tools and practical tools will be made available to anyone, to everyone, I would say.
Good. I don't see other questions, so thank you so much for the presentation, and I'm looking forward to collaborating in the next years, and good luck also with your project. So to close the session, I invite Frans van den Akker to be back on the table next to me and give a presentation on learning intervention.
Yes. So this presentation will be about what does it mean, all these changes that are emerging, and how can we organize this learning for our employees. This is a presentation from a company's perspective. Okay, so within our company, we're facing obviously all the challenges that everybody has. We have people leaving the company because of retirement. We have the talent pipeline pressure. We have some skills not in the company yet. We have this competition for talent. We're sometimes not yet a magnet at the moment. We have to boost our productivity. We have to promote inclusion and diversity, to use everybody available because we need everybody. We have to provide autonomy of a learning paths and career development. Not tell people what they have to do. No, because why should we? People like to choose for themselves what they like to learn and what kind of micro-credential they really like to acquire because of their career moves, for instance. And somehow we have to ensure effective lifelong learning, especially in combination with micro-credentials. This has to be effective. It was stated already today, there was in one of the presentations, there was a 1 hour introduction to AI, 1 hour or up to 8. That must be very effective. Okay, so if you look at our employees, how do they learn? This is not normally by attending a course, not even regular by attending a webinar in Milan. No, they're learning normally from informal learning from each other. And sometimes it's a non-formal organized outside. And only very few of the instances are really formal learning, in which you get a certificate or a micro-credential or even a diploma. That's very, very rare. Eh? We like to do as if we're always getting training, but in reality, we learn most on the job and from our colleagues. So it's formal, non-formal, and informal. And if we look what we do, well, as a child, we go to school, we have formal learning. And as we get older and older and older and older, then we have a tendency to shift to other ways of learning and no longer get these courses or go to academia. Okay, so this is what is the situation. So what is happening because of these digital trends at Haskoning, at our company? Now, we see that we are creating new products, as was shown today also by the other companies. We are creating digital products. And indeed, we're also very actively in using AI. We get these new roles, which was also presented on the skill cards. We have now analytics translators, which were not there 20 years ago, not at all. We will have data stewards who are governing the data and collecting data from the internal projects, gathering all the data that are there, but also helping our clients to organize data governance. So data stewards is a new skill card that will be available in this project. We are starting to work with digital way of working. And if I'm looking around, everybody here has a digital tool with them, with you to work on it. And we're starting to use also AI to create all kinds of answers, to make our proposals, to find advices, etc. It's really speeding up things. And what we also did, we developed this internal platform to collect all the data from all the projects, so to get all the expertise from the past in this one data platform. And then indeed you need a data steward to collect all the data and to set it on your data platform. So this is a new role that we're introducing. And we have this nice internal new colleague, maybe you know him as well, because he's around all about Europe. It's called the chatbot. It's Copilot, and it's a very funny guy. He knows everything, although sometimes he reacts quite funny. You can ask him anything. And he likes to be very positive, so sometimes he says even gives you an answer, although he doesn't know. So you have to check. But it's a very positive one, and he is all over in a thing. And so one thing will be to take from this webinar, I invite you to place an empty chair in every meeting you have, indicating that there's another colleague there, which is called ChatGPT, and he's there. It's maybe not visible, but he's there. You can ask him anything. So this is really changing our way of working and also our effectiveness, how it does. So then we need new skills. And indeed, we also introduced this company AI training week. And we had 30 sessions, and we had 25% of our people, which are 1,500 and 25% which participated. We hosted hackathons, etc. So we did everything to give the people new skills. Okay, but now about how do you really learn? So indeed, we saw today that you can partner together. So we provide, and it's not 915%, but it must be 15% of all our profit is going to an innovation and education fund. So we stimulate the ecosystem. It's also being a magnet, just giving money. And so it is working together with universities, as shown in the previous presentation. Obviously, we like to work together. So we are a partner in research programs, we have partnership agreements, and we really participate in projects also on the future of learning itself. How we will learn in 10 or 20 years. Will there be teachers, or we just ask on AI? What is the future of learning on itself? So we learn on the job by doing all kinds of projects. We have leading professionals being a mentor. So if you enter in our onboarding, you will get a mentor that will help you with your new projects and what to do. On the job learning, not by a formal project management course or whatever. No, you will get a coach, and he or she will show you the way how it works in the company. We go to conferences, networking, especially on technical topics, obviously, and our engineering company will be there talking about the railway of the future and building bridges of the future and discussing with all the technical people. Great to be there. We like that. We love it. We are technical. We have this informal learning as well. We had on the job, we built on the ecosystem, but also there's this informal learning. And we try to organize it. We organize the serendipity that you meet each other and you talk about interesting things. Isn't that great to talk about technical stuff while you're having a drink? So we organize that. We have workshops, thematic sessions, short sessions, sometimes 1 hour only or 2 hours, things like that. And obviously, as many companies for young professionals, we have this talent program in which you can go to all kinds of different disciplines to learn about both logistics and supply chain. Oh, that's the same, supply chain logistics, R&D, and how you do it, a talent program. And then we have this non-formal learning. So you go to it and you attend a course, but it's not, will not give you this already, how do you say it, recognized micro-credential or recognized diploma. But we do have our internal academies. And I think many of the companies have them. And we include a digital learning platform. So you have an e-learning modules from all over the world. If you like to follow a LinkedIn course, you can do that. If you like and have a link to a YouTube film explaining things, you can do that. If you like a more formal link to a MOOC, it's there. All kinds of external courses. So we have a complete mix of how this learning goes on. Not just courses, it's all about. And we have to do everything at once. So what are we really looking for as a gamma industry? It starts all with we need skills description for tasks and roles. What is needed of this skill? For what skills are needed for this task? That's the really start. And we saw it also, I think, in the previous presentation. It starts all with the skill description and in very detailed descriptions. Because if we want to end up with micro credentials, micro learnings, knowledge snacks, those kind of things, we have to need very detailed small skills. So you can attend a course of 1 day or 1 hour even to have this. So we need to check and make those skills very, very small. And we have to have personal skill-based learning paths. So first look at what skills do you already have? What is skills assessment? Self-assessments, great. Other official assessments. We're also looking at companies that use your gaming attitude to see what kind of skills you have already. So how to assess, you can also do it using games. So looking at that, what kinds of games skills do you have to make your really own personal learning path? And as short as possible. We need effective small paths. Not 1 year, no, small ones. If it can be 8 hours, then 8. Can it be 2 hours? Great, even better. These micro-credentials already shown, thank you. As a short stackable certificates, we can stack them. And I need skill passports. I need them to be transferred from my previous job and my previous experience to show that I have this micro-credential. I don't want another assessment if my micro-credential is already there in the past. So that's what I need as well, skill passports. So all these digital platforms, they must accommodate that you can store there your personal skill passports and transfer them. We need learning content to make learning fun. It must be fun to learn. So using the same context and content, using generative AI, for instance, you can change this very interesting text into an interesting ebook, podcast, text on WhatsApp. We're learning with WhatsApp on your phone. We have it already with maintenance engineers. They can look at the WhatsApp and learn there what they need. So all kind of new formats and challenges to be given there. And in the end, we want to have that you learn what you need at the place that you need and how you need it in your own really personal way. So this is just what industry is looking for, to put a challenge there that on the next conferences we can say, yes, we have this. And this was my end. I hope that I took not too much of your time.
Thank you so much, Franz, and thank you also for keeping it short, but still very interesting to hear what Asconin is doing. Are there any questions for Franz? It doesn't seem the case, so it seems that your messages were understood very clearly. Thank you so much, Franz. In the meantime, we received a question actually for Antonella and Francesca in the chat. Jakub is asking, do you need to host content of the course in your LLM, or is the system designed as a catalog? Can you please use the microphone?
Sorry. Currently, we plan to host the micro credentials on our umbrella LMS or in the local LMS by connected to the umbrella LMS. But we also aim to make those units available to the broader context, and there we will study how to do that. Maybe Coursera or something or some platform like that.
to add that is a piloting, of course. So we have to check that everything works before giving available. And that's why it's internal. We have the infrastructures that is quite important among for the universities. And after piloting, of course, the problem of infrastructures is a major problem for all this kind of educational, both at the degree level, that post-degree, at every level. So the infrastructure problem is not a minor one, it's also a costly one.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we move to the last session. We will try to keep it shorter than foreseen because we are a little bit running out of time and I don't want to keep you too far from your lunch break. So we will have a closed dialogue with two speakers that have an extensive experience when it comes to skills and education topics. We have Annie Siltanen. You already know her since this morning. She is head of education policy and skills at the Chemical Industry Federation of Finland, plus ChemSkills project manager, plus chair of the education working group in ECG. And we have connected online Jakub Stolfa, program manager, researcher, and lecturer at the Technical University of Ostrava, and also president of the Automotive Skills Alliance. So the idea is to have a kind of interactive dialogue between with Annie and Jakub in order to kind of identify what are the main challenges for the ChemSkills project, but also to see how these challenges can be addressed on the different levels and how we can move forward. So first of all, I will turn to Annie. Actually, Annie would like to ask you, so the ChemSkills project is a EU-funded project. It's the first blueprint for sectoral cooperation for the chemical sector. However, one of the first challenges that we are encountering now is actually how to ensure that European policymakers are actually aware of the ChemSkills and how also, as Chiara was raising in her question, they can support the ChemSkills beyond the 4 years of the project itself. So I would like to hear from you, how you think we can address this first challenge.
Yes, thank you, Eleonora. This is indeed, it's a very important factor. It's something that we've been not struggling with, but thinking about during the whole course of the project. I think it's much about something we have also addressed here quite a bit, communications. We need to communicate to the policymaking, to the MEPs, to the Commission, to everybody who is related to policymaking and politics in the field of education, skills and competence. I think we also need communication and links towards the industry and need to get the messages directly from them because we are, in a way, the link between the industry and the policy making, then also obviously linking the educational landscape to that. So it's us who are supposed to pull out the messages from both sides sort of and then formalize them so that the Commission and other policy making will understand. We have already created some initial political messages from the project towards the Commission, such as, for instance, how important is STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to turn the curve around in Europe. And this is something that the Commission is already aware of, but we can only highlight and enhance from the project side. Then obviously, as Mr. Ranieri already mentioned in the morning, there is a vocational education and training plan coming up from the Commission side. This is also something that we, from the project, we very much like to support. It is often that vocational education training, unfortunately, is somehow forgotten when we talk about green skills or skills needed for the transition of the industry, even though the chemical industry actually has 50% of its working force from the vocational education and training side. So I think this is something that we need to keep in the loop and keep in the talks between ourselves and the policy making. Then obviously we need to secure possibilities to build consortia. So we need to have funding for this also in the future. We need to make sure there's enough teachers, which is obviously then again regional or local policy making depending on the country. But then again, I think the EU could secure possibilities for STEM teachers, for instance, for future education possibilities for modular learning. And then obviously also when we talk about skills and competence and look at the future with companies, everybody mentions regulation. And this is something that was also highlighted very much in connection of the political messages we shaped. So we will need regulatory people in the future, maybe even more than we do have now. And this is also something that we need to then look at maybe separately, not in the framework of ChemSkills per se, but also keep in mind that we will need people, professionals who have a lot of knowledge as in terms of regulation. Now, the sustainability question that Chiara already raised, or the continuation question of the project, that is something that is very difficult. And I would be very happy to learn from other European projects how you might have secured that within your framework, since this is something that we have already mentioned to the Commission multiple times. We do have funding until 27. Then we have created something that is great. We have hopefully created a great framework of also training offer, as Fabian here presented. So then we would like to obviously continue. We would like to keep this going. Yet there's no funding. So this is an issue that we would encourage also other European projects to highlight towards the Commission, that there needs to be some sort of a solution to this. We have met up with the Minsato cabinet. We have already highlighted this issue to them once, and we will hopefully be able to then meet up with them another time and push forward this message another time as well. Maybe I'll leave it at that now and to the next question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie. And actually, I take the occasion because I know that Jakub has an extensive experience with the Blueprint projects. So maybe I turn the question that you raised, Annie, to Jakub, whether you experience some, like the similar issue in other Blueprint projects, for example, for the automotive sector, and how you address that.
Thank you very much, and I hope you can hear me. And first of all, and I know I am the break between your lunch, but first of all, I'm very sorry that I couldn't come in person. Unfortunately, I'll try plan that. I'm sick, but happy to be here at least online, and I hope I will be with you next time. And as you said, of course, this work that is being done in ChemSkills projects and in general in the Blueprint project as such, I really like that, because it's really bringing, and that's the most important benefit, it's really bringing the collaboration on the skills agenda closer to the sectoral stakeholders. So if it's automotive sector, if it's battery sector, if it's that we have done the blueprints, if it's a chips sector, or if it's of course the chemical sector with all its subsectors that we have included here. And definitely the challenge of the continuation we have on the tables. I can of course share the best practices, what we have done in the automotive sector as such. We have built an alliance of course, in-kind contributions, and of course, bridging and building and mainstreaming the different also initiatives on the regional, national, and European level. But definitely, that's also the message that we are always saying. This beauty that's the Blueprint projects are this collaboration, and this when we look at that also on the high level, this collaboration, for instance, in the Pact for Skills initiative, is showing that it's bringing its results. It has real impact. and it's something that needs to continue. I'm very happy also to see that, of course, this commission have it as one of the priorities. Also, you can see in the Union of Skills strategy that there is written the back for skills, fragmentation of the initiatives, and to tackle, of course, the sectoral specificities, which, and speaking about the fragmentation of the initiatives, and don't take it wrong, it's definitely good that we have different initiatives, and to really support the different industrial jobs. We are talking about centers of vocational excellence. We are talking, and it was great presentation. The question was from my side about European University Alliances, where, by the way, please let's get in touch, because in ChemSkills project, we are having that Skills Up system, which is kind of catalog of the different training courses and issuing micro-credentials as well. So it would be great to explore how we can collaborate also with your system. So, Eleonora, it's very difficult, but I really totally sign that. That's one of the priorities that we should all stakeholders call for, but not just call for, but work on. It's, of course, Commission is the enabler and booster, but it's also all of us that are willing to continue. And you can see also at today's conference, I was very happy to see the different best practices that we have also seen from the companies. Then, of course, the different micro-credential system. Then we have seen really talking about also attractiveness and positive look, of course, at I would maybe change the direction, I would say, at the industrial jobs, at the STEM education, at the new way of the learnings, on micro skills and all that. And that's something that ChemSkills project is helping with. ChemSkills project is bringing, of course, skills intelligence in terms of strengths, skills, impact, job roles, future scenarios, but also it brings, as you have seen from Fabian, different courses, new ways of education, and also sectoral skill strategy. And all that is said is very important that it continues and is also continuously updating, because this community is really important from the perspective that we are in the world that is changing very quickly and rapidly. And we all know that due to digital transformation and all this. And all this will need continuous and agile updates. So let's stay together. Let's work on this sustainability. Of course, allow me to say once again, it's on all of us, and I know how difficult it is for all of us on all levels, but it's on us to bring also the solutions that might be further boosted and supported in the overall framework and of the European Union. Sorry for the longer answer and postponing the lunch.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jakub, for actually highlighting the added value of the ChemSkills project. I think everyone in the room here is convinced about the added value of the ChemSkills. Now we need to actually make sure that the message arrives also at the policy making, not only at European level, but also at national and regional level, because what I think it's important here is to build something that it's actually useful, especially for the companies in this moment of time, which is really challenging. I would like to ask to the audience whether you have any questions for Annie or for Jakub. Yes, we have a question here in the room, please.
May I have a remark?
Yes, sure.
It's not really a question. I mean, Annie, we were talking about that we need more regulatory experts. And I agree on that, absolutely, that we need more regulatory experts, but we also have to be careful with such a request, because in the end, regulatory experts or the regulatory experts in a company usually are not the most productive ones in the sense of producing products or innovating. It's more an administrative task. And this is specifically why I'm saying that, because my name is Marko Sušnik. I work for the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber and also advise the European Social Partner for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises on chemicals policy. That's in particular, when you have a regulatory expert in an SME, that's actually a very significant cost. And that's a bit of the problem, that if we think that we will solve just by putting a regulatory expert in an SME who is super educated, that probably won't be affordable.
So that's something that we have to think about, that we probably also will need to train consultants, which then help those SMEs. But also we have to think exactly if an SME would be forced to have only one specific person, which would be like 10% of the workforce of an SME, then actually they would have financial problems. And when we talk about education, vocational education, like 2/3 of the vocational education in Europe is happening at SMEs. So I think that's very important. And we really have to also look at that, because when we talk about vocational education, we don't talk about solutions for the large multinationals, but really for the smallest ones. And there we also have to think about the recommendations that we are giving to the policymakers. So just as a bit of a food for thought, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. I'm happy to maybe reflect back on that. First of all, when I refer to regulation, I mean, this is something that came from the network, and I think also from a lot of maybe multinational companies have already people with legal expertise specialized in regulation that is absolutely needed for them. I work a lot with petrochemicals myself, and this seems to be a field where it's been very, very needed in the last years when you make the transfer towards renewables. But it's obviously, for instance, my organization represents 400 different companies at the Finland level, so to say, and there are different needs. But this is one of the skills needs that was highlighted also in the European-wide research when we made that. And obviously those guidelines or those requests for the politicians have not finalized yet. It's a draft and it's a living document that we within the consortium will update during the course of the whole project, obviously. And the other remark on the vocational education and training, I absolutely support. It was my intent to highlight how important the vocational education and training is, and that's why I'm really happy that we also have some of our vocational expertise also in the room here to guide and follow the ChemSkills all the time, so that we can secure that also vocational is very much taken into account at the European level and in the project. Thank you.
Jakob, do you have any last remark you would like to raise before we close the conference?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Just very quickly, as I would like to really highlight what was said, that the project will not solve everything. Of course, it's a piece of puzzle that is putting the different stakeholders together, that is bringing, of course, the blueprint, but the blueprint needs to be filled in and be with the concrete actions. Yeah? And as said, we can't, and I believe all of us on a ChemSkills project and can see that the most important is the impact of the project, how is really the courses are used in the industry, the courses are used in the initial educational system, for instance, at the universities, secondary schools, VET system. And of course, also skills intelligence is used on the member states level, on the regional levels, for instance, to define the new curricula that are needed. Yeah? And really, coming back to that, sharing the best practices, because also all around Europe, there are great examples and great practices that we can build on, we can mainstream. So I hope, and my wish is that this further continues, and this, and I was really happy to see that today at the conference, that this puts stakeholders together, highlight the important topics that, of course, on the one hand, can go to practical actions, and of course, on the other hand, shapes and helps to shape, as we have heard also at the beginning from our colleague from CEDEFOP, the policy messages, the policy work that needs to, of course, support it further. So thanks a lot, and sorry once again that I cannot join you in person.
Thank you so much, Jakob, and I hope you will recover soon, if not done yet. I give the floor to Annie for the closing remarks, and then we can have our lunch.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Jakob. It was nice talking to you, even if remotely. Yes, now it's time to close the whole conference then, and I think it's my time to say thank you for this interesting, inspirational day with all of you, both here and online. I think and I hope that we have been able to provide some inspiration, some insight to what is going on within the ChemSkills project, but also what is going on within the European educational scene, within the European industry, and how can we maybe even better work together in the future? What can we maybe still achieve in terms of European projects such as ChemSkills or even outside? I think we have learned quite a bit also, especially from the companies in terms of, for instance, AI, new technologies, how we can tackle energy related sustainability challenges, new ways of learning, new ways of working, how we can inspire people within companies for even more learning, upskilling, reskilling. What would be the next steps of education related initiatives within Europe, how we can maybe help policymaking understand what we need even better than we did so far. I think the most valuable asset for me personally is always the interaction between different actors here in the room. And I've been really, really happy to see how we had from all possible angles of actors within the ChemSkills. Also, we had companies. This is always something that I really enjoy, because I think that maybe one of the strengths of the ChemSkills is that we have managed to actually attract companies to be around us, even though we do not really have many companies as our partners here directly. We always somehow manage to attract companies to join us in conferences. And I think this is an invaluable asset that I cannot highlight enough. I think it's essential, really essential, to build that link between ChemSkills and European companies, because this is only so that we can contribute to the competitiveness that I already mentioned in the beginning of today. So I would really only hope that this was not the last time that we gather with this kind of a crowd, and we will let these exchanges continue. I would encourage you to talk to each other also after the conference, and obviously come up to me and Chiara and Eleonora in case you would like to connect with the ChemSkills project somehow stronger in the future. We'd be really happy to talk to you. So thank you for my part, and I think really there's hope for Europe, since there are people like you and ourselves who will drive forward the educational landscape and connections to the industry and learning. So thank you very much, everybody, and I hope to see you soon again. And now I hand back to Eleonora.
Yes, I take just a couple of minutes, if I may, just to thank you, the Federchimica team, Veronica in particular, but also Arianna, Irene, and Smeralda, and all the team that was behind the organization of this conference. I would like to thank my team here in front, in the front line, and especially Chiara and Annie, because all the work behind the organization, the administrative task, the coordination between the partners, like it's all the results of their work. So thank you so much for your hard work. Then thank you to all the participants of the conference, the project partners in particular. And I would like to just let you know that we will have another conference next year in September. We need still to fix the date, but it will be in Prague. So we will be very happy if you will be able to join us, either in person or online. And last remark, the conference has been recorded, so it will be on our YouTube channels in the next days. It will be uploaded, so you can, if you want to have a look again at the conference, you can actually find there the recordings, and the slides will be uploaded in the project website. That's all from my end, and thank you so much, and safe travels for those who are traveling.
Thank you, Eleanor.
It requires a lot of